Hello, my friends, esteemed colleagues, and family. Uh, as we are further disclosing how terribly misled we are through science and how medicine actually serves the opposite, what it should be serving, instead of healing, it is actually endangering our lives and making us more sicklier. I was told to make a video about gastroparesis, or it's also called gastric stasis. Basically, a term that is given to slow moving stomach muscles and intestinal muscles. When we eat something, then the food in the stomach is being actually mixed almost like in washing machine clothes. The muscle stomach is moving and it's mixing the food. And then also through contraction, it empties its content into intestines. And then you have intestinal movement, which goes like this and actually squeezes things out. It's like inserting elastic in a rim of a pants, for example. You take usually some pin, something longer that you push through the elastic, put it into the opening that you have for elastic, and then you push the fabric over, you grab the needle or pin, whatever, and then pull the clothes over it. Then again, you push more, pull over it. So you are pushing slowly the elastic in this sleeve of pants. Well, similar to this, it's how intestines work to push the food through and eliminate it. Now, in some people, this movement of muscles becomes very slow and even almost static. It is not static completely, because if it becomes static, very often this may lead to death, because gas is built up, creates big pain, and if there's no movement, stuff becomes toxic, and inevitably it is going to cause death. So people may experience various phases of this slowing down the digestive contractions. Now, when we go to experts, we are going to see that, number one, they have no clue why this happens. So they will blame it, oh, there was some viral infection. Well, we know what that means. Or they will tell you it is because of surgery that was done, which could be and usually happens temporarily. Then could be medication that people are using. And ultimately, basically they blame it on diabetes or anything else that could have, that usually is accompanying this. This is very seldom the only symptom. Usually there are other symptoms, and this is part of those symptoms. So, without me blabbering, let me first show you the scientific explanation and what you expect to hear from doctors, the allopathic or the alternative, because they will just shift a little bit the medicinal stuff. But basically, no one has a clue. So let's demonstrate it. Okay, so here we are with our friends from Mayo Clinic and gastroparesis. Well, diagnosis. We don't even want to get there yet because this all depends on the symptoms that you have, and then they will go all kinds of they will push all kinds of cameras in your stomach and up to your rectum, and they will give you contrast and whatever. So let's see what gastritic this is gastrointestinal endoscopy. Here we are already in diagnosis and treatments. So let's go back into checking the basic of what they have to say about it. So here we are. Overview. Gastroparesis is a condition that affects the normal, spontaneous movement of the muscles in your stomach. Well, not only stomach, it's also, it involves on the intestines. Ordinary, they should be strong, that propel food through digestive tract. But if you have a gastroparesis, your stomach motility is slowed down or doesn't work at all, preventing your stomach from emptying properly. Okay, now the cause. The cause of gastroparesis is usually unknown. Well, they can skip the usually, because if you look at a culprit, you will not find it. Okay, so skip the usually. The cause is unknown. Sometimes it is complication of diabetes. Okay, so now again, as I mentioned, they are going to pin it to something. Like, what type of people are more likely to develop this problem? Well, it's chronically sick people. Diabetes is one of those chronic diseases. Then if you had okay, let me see, some medications like some opioid pain relievers. Okay, so as we said, let me see causes. Okay, it's not always clear. Well, it's never clear because they have no clue why it's caused. But risk factors, here we are. Diabetes, abdominal or esophageal surgeries. So surgeries, yes, they can cause this temporarily. Infection, usually from Zumzula. Okay, it's right here. Creation, and we know that Zumzulas don't exist. Nobody ever saw Zumzula. So this is very good scapegoat. Certain medications that slow the rate of stomach. Okay, so with scleroderma, nervous system disease such as Parkinson's and multiple sclerosis. Well, we know that they are chronic diseases. Underactive thyroid. Okay, women are more likely to develop this. Complications, severe dehydration. Well, severe dehydration is not complication of this. It is one of the causes of this. Malnutrition, cause. Undigested food that hardens and remains in your stomach. Yeah, why? Because they feed you wrong. Okay. It decreases quality of life. No shit, Sherlock. Okay, so here we have these causes. Symptoms. Let's go to symptoms. Why would you think that you may have this gastroparesis? because you start vomiting. You have nausea, abdominal bloating, abdominal pain. If they a feeling of fullness after eating just a few bites. Well, when the stomach is inflamed, this is how you feel. Same like with the bladder. If your bladder is inflamed, then you feel that you have to urinate all the time, even though there's little urine. So it is related to the abdominal pain and bloating, basically caused by the inflammation. Acid reflux. Why acid reflux? Because we are talking here of chronic problem that affects cellular structure. Change in blood sugar levels, of course, the absorption is bad. Lack of appetite, weight loss, malnutrition. All right, so these are just symptoms of toxic body, toxic and dehydrated body. Causes, as we know, they are unknown. They said vagus nerve may be damaged, well, or maybe suppressed in action through medication. But why is it damaged? Why is this happening? We mentioned the risk factors. Okay, so now when we go into diagnosis, so this test I don't even mention, this is too stupid to talk about. Endoscopy, gastrointestinal endoscopy, they'll put camera in your stomach to look what it is, but it's going to be inflamed. There's nothing they can find. They just charge you arm and leg for the procedures, which leads up to nothing except more irritation. Ultrasound also, they will find nothing except inflammation. Sometimes they give you barium contrast to drink, so they keep poisoning you for no reason. So they have a clear picture of something they don't understand. Treatment. Okay, treating gastroparesis begins with identifying and treating the underlying condition. Well, what underlying condition are you talking about? Are you talking about the other symptoms that you may have, like the diabetes or Parkinson's? Bunch of nonsense. Changes to your diet. All right, here we are close. Okay, something is wrong with the diet, schmucks, of course. So here we go. What do we see as a recommendation? Okay, dietitian may suggest that you try to eat smaller meals more frequently, chew food thoroughly, eat well-cooked fruits and vegetables rather than raw. Well, you cannot digest, nothing is moving. You will not digest the cooked stuff either. But at least it will look like digested because you already destroyed it by heating it up. Avoid fibrous fruits and vegetables. So no fibers. Why? Because you cannot digest anything, and you can not digest those even when the digestion works correctly. Choose mostly low-fat food. Okay, now try soups, pured food like, mashed potatoes. Drink 1 to 1.5 liters of water a day. Yeah, that's gonna do much. But at least they say water, they don't say liquid. Exercise gently after you eat. This is not really the best thing to do. Walking, It's better to rest a little bit before you do that stuff after you eat. Of course, avoid carbonated drinks, alcohol, and smoking. That you should do always. Try to avoid lie down for 2 hours after a meal. Why? You may get reflux. Because remember, you have chronic problem with your cells. Cells are dehydrated. Muscles that they form, sphincters that they form, they cannot close well, and you develop reflux. Not only reflux, the pylorus doesn't work. So you start putting undigested acidic food into your intestines, which are not meant to receive this. And this starts causing problems in your intestines. And of course, take multivitamin daily. That's gonna do you much help. Now, ask your dietitian for comprehensive list of foods recommended for people with gastroparesis. Here's a brief list. Starches, white bread and rolls, and whole wheat bread without nuts or seeds, and no fiber. Egg beagles, plain, English muffins, corn tortillas, pancakes. Man, they really want to kill you. Rice, cereals, cream of wheat rice, crackers, baked French fries, pasta. Okay, as far as protein, beef, veal, and pork, not fried, but well cooked. Okay. Chicken or turkey, no skin and no fried. No skin, which means no fat. Crab, lobster, shrimps, scallops, oysters, tuna, cottage cheese, eggs. Okay, if they will just tell you to have them raw. But of course, they will give you the opposite. Fruits and vegetables, pureed vegetables and fruits, such as baby food. Yeah, well, that's how we start poisoning the human body from our babies, feeding them this crap. Tomato sauce, paste, puree, juice, carrots cooked, so they are soft, beets cooked, mushrooms cooked. Everything has to be highly cooked so it's soft, and no fiber. Vegetable juices, broths, fruit juices, drinks, all that crap, as much as you can to get sicker as possible. Dairy, yeah, you can use dairy. Not frozen yogurt, nothing cold, especially if you have a problem with digestion. You have inflammation. Cold stuff is one of the causes of inflammation. Gastritis. You eat a lot of ice cream and you get gastritis. Gastritis. Okay, medication. Okay, you take medication to stimulate your stomach muscles. Okay? Metoclopramide. Erythromycin may lose effectiveness over time. Of course, everything loses effectiveness over the time because you are further poisoning the body. Medications that control nausea and vomiting. Okay, so body wants to eliminate the garbage and you prevent it. Keep it there. Keep poisoning your body. Beautiful idea. And of course, when all this brings the body to situation that symptoms can no longer be suppressed, then we start cutting the parts which don't move. So you cut part of the stomach, you cut part of the intestines, and this is called curing. You are helping people. Well, after this, the next stop is morgue. I don't think that we have to go electrical stimulation. Yeah, plug yourself in a socket and switch the current on. That's the best thing you can do. Clinical trials and all that crap. Why? Because they have no idea what they're doing. So let's briefly talk about this. Well, it's a circus, isn't it? Can you believe people with this knowledge are in charge of your health? Do you still wonder why I call them 007 agents with license to kill? Everything they are trained to do is contrary to what should be done. So, what is the culprit? Why do the muscles slow down? Well, they're poisoned. What happens with muscle that is composed of dehydrated and acidic cells? Such a muscle becomes brittle and loses tension, which means contraction becomes weak. As the sphincters cannot close properly because they are weak, they cannot constrict, and you get reflux, you get pyloric discharge, you get incontinence, you cannot hold urine, then you cannot hold your stool. You become bedridden, breathing vegetable, completely out of control of your own body, because nothing works, because cells are overly toxic, dehydrated, they cannot hold charge, no electricity. Then doctor scares you, so the fear draws more of the energy out. And this is your end. Nothing doctors do is designed to help you. It is designed to do exactly the opposite. Why? Because we know that doctors are trained by Rockefeller Foundation. Rockefeller Foundation approves all the scientific material that is being taught around the world, in every country. Doesn't matter if you are in Namibia, if you are in Uruguay, if you are in United States or France, that doesn't matter. There's a medical school on island Saba in the Caribbean. The island, and it's the end of it. It's so small. It's a medical university. The only people living there are students. Yeah, population of 5 plus students. And they train people with such a nonsense that you can see here. And then you have alternative medicine that goes and says, okay, well, don't give them the pills. Pills are no good. Give them a little bit of bark of that tree and a little bit of fruit or seed of the other tree because they need vitamin B17. They need a little bit of cyanide. Okay, this is going to help. We have all become schmucks. Everything we know is based on what we have been told, and we have been told lies. And we have to uncouple from this. We have to distance ourselves from this knowledge. But how can you expect scientist doctor to just say, well, my license is not worth anything because I don't know nothing? There is no doctor that's going to tell you this. They all are gods in their own mind. They know everything. Well, how do we deal with this problem? You know, my friend contacted me to make this video because a friend of his was diagnosed and she is now deathly afraid what's going to happen with her because there's no cure. Of course there's no cure, but there is a healing. Cure is preservation. You don't want to preserve this crap. You want to heal yourself from it. The word doesn't exist in scientific vocabulary. Healing, you will never find it there. It's curing. So, how do you heal from this? Well, number one, keep away from doctors as far as you can go. Okay? When you see doctor on one side of a town, go to the other side of the town. You can have diagnosis made, but this is only going to scare you. It's unnecessary when they don't know diddly squat about how to help you, other than suppress the symptom, which leads to worse problems in the future. This is how chronic diseases are born. So, what should we do? Well, we have to take care of ourselves. And this is why I made Self-Healers Protocol. And if you follow it, you are going to heal from any chronic disease. Doesn't matter what chronic disease it is. Most of them are so-called incurable. Well, try protocol and then talk to me. But don't try protocol your way. You have to be strict. And depending on how toxic you are, you may have to start a little easier because the detox is not easy and it's not short. You know, we hear from alternative medicine, liver cleanse, 3 days, kidney cleanse, 3 days. You are like new. Oh, baloney. This is gets me out. This is nothing. You just clean the passages a little bit. You have to repeat it every year, a couple times, to have liver kind of functioning. When you go into cellular liver cleanse, well, this is cleansing, and it ain't happening in 3 days. Well, this is going to hit you, especially if the liver is very toxic and it starts on cellular level, cleansing. There are a few people who went through it, through protocol, and they can tell you about it. I mentioned it also. That happened to me recently, last December. So, why people have this problem? Because they are told not to have salt, and through salt we get minerals. Now the alternative schmucks are going to tell you, yeah, but salt from the sea or rock salt, this is a mineral that is not bioactivated. So it has to be chelated through plants, and that's how you get it. Well, don't listen to these. I don't even know how to call them. I'm talking about this for so many years that I'm being disgusted already that people are not catching up to the truth. I mean, those people, those supplement pushers, yeah, well, they would lose their business because nothing they do is promoting health. It is just disguised as a health promotion to grab your money, and in return you get sicker. I cannot tell you how many people, clients I had with cabinets full of supplements. and they were toxic as a dog. And until they left all the supplements, flushed all in the toilet, and start eating correctly. Now, what is a correct diet? I explained this many times. Raw animal products, from dairy eggs to anything that crawls or swims on its power. Shellfish, fish, cow, pig, crocodile, elephant, anything, but has to be in a correct vibration, which means has to be raw. When you heat it, food, not only animal products, but in general, everything that you heat up changes the way it smells, the way it tastes, the color, consistency, which means all these things are frequencies being manifested through this robot of ours. So when you see physical changes on the stuff that you heat, the stuff changed vibration. So yeah, putting different vibration, different scale of vibration into your body. It's like taking a pianos and violins and violoncellos and tightening the strings a little bit higher, and then incorporating them in a beautifully tuned, functioning orchestra. What do you think is going to happen to the sound? It's going to sound like crap. If you run this through the sensors, you will start cringing. Well, this is what body does when you start feeding it such a crap. Now, when you look through this recommendation of food, it's all cooked food, all highly toxic. Forget about looking at the toxins from the biochemistry point of view. Even I mentioned sometimes cyanide, mentioning some heavy metals, okay, like aluminum. Ultimately, they are all just frequencies. We have named them, these names, after we manifested them through our senses. But they originate as a frequency, and everything is response to frequency according to your program that you are running on. So your thought, your emotions, as soon as you have bad emotion, this is a bad frequency. Since you have emotional organs that deal with these emotional frequencies, one of the big one is your liver. You're going to have liver problems based on your emotional stress. You will hair loss like me because of emotional stress brought to me through my clients. Because I try to reason, I try to be always available, and often I'm being abused. And as long as people follow my instructions, I don't mind. But when they start improvising and arguing, well, I'm going to stop helping such people. Because, again, if you don't want to heal, don't bother me. If you want to heal, and you know nothing served you, well, you want my help, then you have to do what I say. Otherwise, I'm not going to anymore work with you, because then I feel bad that you are not improving. I take it personally, and I damage my liver, I lose hair. So we have to help each other, but not abuse each other. And I'm doing my best to make these videos. I'm doing my best to write articles, to respond to comments and to my emails, guiding, leading. So find it in your heart to send me some contribution, because I also have to live. And unfortunately, we didn't shift yet, so I cannot manifest food or manifest energy. I have to buy it. And the system doesn't allow me to work the way I want to work. And I want to work through truth, which this system doesn't allow. So please find it in your heart, and if you can, when you cannot, I understand. I cannot. I'm running on programs. I'm using programs that I don't have to pay for. I'm using Skype because I don't have to pay for it. I'm using WordPress as my site because they allow me to use it for free. I paid for one site, and now I'm sorry I did it, because it cost me money, and it's much worse than the free site that I get from WordPress. And WordPress guys, if any one of you listens to me, thank you very much for your service, because I can afford very little, because we are also helping family in Venezuela, which is terrible what's happening there. So this is how I'm piecing things together. My videos are made on telephone, and I don't have a proper mic for it, so I'm using the earphone mic, and this is why the recordings is so crappy. I was looking for some mic to connect, but nothing was working on this phone. So anyway, if any one of you has problem with a slow digestion, don't panic and don't listen to your healers. Doesn't matter if it's a doctor or alternative healer. As soon as they reach for plants, dump them, and dump them fast, as it is in one of the movies. So there is not much to say about this. Everyone who watched few of my videos already has the idea, just by mentioning symptoms. You know, it's a poisoning, it's toxic body, toxic blood, which means dehydration. Dehydration because there's not enough salt and water, not enough plasma. And pollution increases because of the toxic food we eat, toxic thoughts we have, inability of cleanse because of lack of plasma. It's always the same culprit. Symptoms slightly vary, and new disease is born. Diseases do not exist. It's all hogwash. It's all about toxicity. It's all about frequency. We can heal instantly if we can stabilize our original vibration. So it is then being shown to us through our robot as healthy body. And we can be highly toxic to do that. All we have to do is raise cellular voltage. And this is problematic, because we receive all the power required from the heart, but we drain it through fear. Fear is our worst enemy. And this is why everything that is happening now in the world is to make you full of fear. This is going to cause manifestation of diseases. Then they will pinpoint on zumzulas that don't exist and request you to accept one of those, or 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 of those, which is a shortcut to cemetery. Well, thank you for listening. And again, it's simple. It is stupidly simple to heal once when you understand the mechanism. Thank you for listening. I love you. God bless you. Namaste.